To begin this tutorial, the first thing we'll do is download the reference image. Once it's downloaded, simply drag it into the top view. Click OK when prompted. Now type 0, then 31.09 and press Enter. We can now select the image and type Artisan Center to place it right in the middle of the workspace. Next, go to Pan, Zoom, and Rotate, then choose Zoom Extents All to center the view in every viewport. This will be our reference image. The first step is to go to the Material panel, which can also be found under Panels. As you can see, it's currently highlighted in yellow. Select it and lower the opacity to around 30 to 33%. Then, assign the image to a layer and lock it so it won't move accidentally. Now we'll start tracing the first outlines, working from the top view. We'll begin with the outer shape of the butterfly. Use the Curve command and start drawing from 0. Try to use as few points as possible. Keep it clean and simple. Remember, this is just a reference image, something you might have drawn for a client. Once the curve is complete, we can change its layer color for better visibility. I'll switch to shaded mode so you can better see the shape. Now, let's draw the outer shape on the other side as well and assign it to the same layer. We can then create an offset from this curve, extending it toward the opposite side. Let's try an offset of 1.8 millimeters, or 1.7. That looks good. We'll adjust the curve slightly so it aligns perfectly with the reference image. Just drag the control points until they match. Perfect. We'll do the same with the other curve. Make an interior offset of the same value and change it to the same layer. We can fine-tune both curves to fit the image nicely. Perfect. Before joining these curves with the Join command to create a single closed curve, use the Line command to connect the two curves. Once they are connected with the line, apply Join to form the closed curve. Do the same for the other side. Now both wings are ready. Go to the Surface tab and use from Planar Curve to generate a surface from each shape. Let's unlock the image and move it slightly downward in the perspective view so we can see what we're creating. Now select the surface and perform a split using one of the curves. That lets us remove the interior part. If you see that the surface normals are inverted, just use Flip to fix them. Now select both surfaces and use the gumball to extrude them downward by 2 millimeters. You can do this by typing -2. Perfect. Next, we'll extract a central curve to define the gem paths. For this, go to Analyze and measure the distance between one point and its perpendicular projection on the other curve. It reads 1.7 millimeters, so we can do an offset at 1.7 divided by 2, and that gives us the perfect middle curve. Do the same for the opposite wing. To do the same on the bottom part, select the curves and use the Explode command to separate them. Then select the lower one and create the offset at 1.7 divided by 2. Now, let's explode the curves to separate them and clean up the ends, keeping only the useful parts. We'll also use Fit to simplify the curves and reduce unnecessary points. Perfect. We can now add the gems using Gems on Curve. To help us set the parameters, we can hide the surface so that we can see the reference image. Let's set the size to 1.35 millimeters and the distance between stones to 0.20 millimeters. Click Accept and repeat the same process for the other curve. Activate Gems on Curve again, select the curve, and assign the surface as a reference for proper orientation. Keep the same values. Size 1.35, spacing 0.20. We can also add prongs. If needed, reduce the spacing slightly, maybe 0.05 or 0.07 millimeters, so the layout aligns better. End each curve with a single prong to close the sequence neatly. Perfect. Since we haven't added prongs to the gemstones on the upper part, we can edit the gems and add them just as we did on the lower part, using the same parameters and finishing with a single prong. Now let's move on to the inner part. We'll use this curve and turn it into a surface. Lower it by 2 millimeters from the top view. Do the same with the other curve. This time we need to join the curve with another curve to create a closed one, so that we can create the surface. Join them and create another surface, then also move it down by 2 millimeters. Let's temporarily hide the reference image and extrude the surface upward by 1.5 millimeters. Now our butterfly base is closed. To see how it's looking, we can mirror the geometry. Select everything, go to Transform, and use Mirror along the Y-axis. That gives us the complete butterfly shape. Bring back the reference image and assign the inner parts to another layer for better organization. Then hide that layer so we can focus on the details. Now we'll draw the inner decorative details. Using the Curve command again, start from the longer sections and then draw the smaller ones. Always make sure the lines connect back to the central curve. Perfect. Let's also draw the details for the lower wings. Now, we can create solid pipes from these curves, with the end set to round. Let's start with one and preview it. Looks good. Now do the same for the others, keeping the round caps. Always use the reference image to guide your shape and thickness. At this point, we can remove any leftover guide curves used for reference and make sure everything is clean. Now, select the poly surfaces we've created and join them so we have a single solid object. Use the Boolean union command for that. Do the same for the lower elements. To give everything a smoother and more organic look, go to the Sub-D tab and use Quad Remesh. Select the poly surface and press Enter. In the options, enable Convert to Sub-D. And you can also preview and hide the original object. Set target edge length to around 2, or you can try 0.2 depending on your model's scale. Accept the command. Now repeat the same process for the bottom part. Same parameters, and press OK. Now the butterfly looks much more organic. Move these Sub-D surfaces to their appropriate layer to stay organized. Let's adjust the positioning slightly to make sure the parts touch perfectly. Enable wireframe mode to check if everything intersects properly. Looks great. The surfaces connect exactly as they should. Now we'll add the interior gems. Bring the reference image to the front again and increase its transparency. Then lock it. From the top view, select the surface and use the Pavé command. Add the surface to the selector and test the stone placement. If the gems are too large, reduce the size until the dark center areas of the reference align with the stones. This looks good, so let's start placing the gems just like in the image. Some stones are smaller, others larger. Start with the bigger ones first, then fill in the smaller gaps. Take your time adjusting until you're happy with the result. Now we'll add prongs. Let's set their parameters. Diameter at 0.50 millimeters. Over girdle at 0.20. Under girdle also 0.20. And extension for manufacturing at 0.30 millimeters. Try automatic mode. The software will add prongs where it can. Now manually place any that are missing. If any areas need smaller prongs, set their diameter to 0.40 or slightly less to fit nicely. Add some decorative false beads along the lower edges for a more natural look. I'm doing this quickly for the tutorial, but take your time and adjust everything carefully. Once you're satisfied, confirm the command. Now, let's create the central setting. Go back to Gem Studio and choose a Marquise cut stone. Click Add. It's a bit too large. Scale it down until it fits well within the model. The goal of this tutorial is to see how we can turn a 2D image into a 3D model. That's why we'll be adjusting each element using the image as a reference in order to create a model that's as faithful to the original as possible. Take your time. And remember, this is just an example. You can create the model in your own style. Next, we'll create the basket. Without selecting anything, click Edit. Set 6 prongs. Change the prong mode to claw. And adjust the diameter to 1.2 millimeters and the height to 2.9 millimeters. That works well. Set the bottom diameter also to 1.3 millimeters. Now, go to the Rails section. I will hide the rest of the elements so I can edit the rails. And adjust the upper and lower widths and heights to 0.8 millimeters each. We'll make it slightly wider, so it intersects nicely with the prongs. Set the percentage to around 76. That gives us a balanced basket. Accept to confirm. Now show all objects again with Show and fine-tune the position. If any gems overlap, delete the extras on both sides while holding Ctrl plus Shift to select individual ones. Next, we'll perform a Boolean split. Before that, we'll extract the gem's outer curve using Gem Curve. Once extracted, hide the gem itself Extrude this curve until it intersects all the solids. Perfect. Now, Select all solids. And run Boolean difference, using that solid as the cutting object. Delete any leftover geometry from the cut. If any parts weren't trimmed, simply repeat the process for those areas until clean. Remove any prongs or pieces that are no longer needed. And there we go. Our butterfly pendant is fully modeled and complete. To finish, let's add a bail from the Accessories tab. Accept the default one and move it upward. Position it properly. Then click Edit to adjust its shape. Choose Profile 14 and move the points into place. Set the width to 3.5 millimeters. Set the height to 1 and the internal distance to 4.20. Now we will adjust the O-ring parameters. We'll set the thickness to 0.8 millimeters, then reduce the overlapping distance to 0.80. Now edit the lower section. We will switch the profile to the one we edited for the upper part. It is located at the end of the assets. Set the width to 1.2 and the height to 0.9. That looks perfect. Accept the changes and position it carefully. And with that, our butterfly pendant is ready for rendering. If you like, you can use larger stones to get a more gem-rich look. With a bit more time and fine adjustments to the prongs and gem spacing, you can reduce the visible metal and let the gems shine even more. Take your time, refine your details, and don't forget to share your final render with us.